welcome in, guys. Welcome in. It's been a while since we've had a live. We're back from Olympic break. Women's fantasy basketball is back on starting tomorrow, Thursday, August 15th. I'm excited to be back. I've missed it. I've been a little bored. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And I felt today will bring back the fantasy lives on every single Wednesday. We go over updates, fantasy advice. I'm here to answer your guys' questions as well. I thought today would be good for a refresher because I know I need a refresher because I feel like so many things have happened over the Olympic break. Who's in, who's out, who's still fantasy relevant. We're going to go over it all. And today has been super busy with injuries. I've been trying to keep up with all of them. So if I missed something, put in the chat so we can let everyone know, okay? So we're going to go for the Eastern Conference first and then the Western Conference. So I'm just going to go over every team. Like I said, update you guys with injuries, players that are returning from injury, and then fantasy relevant players. I know this is the last week before playoffs for one of my leagues. In another league, I have one more week of regular season, and then we go into playoffs. So this is crunch time, people. And we are in the middle of a week. You guys are resuming your matchups from before we went on Olympic break. So let's get into it. Eastern Conference first. We'll start off with the Atlanta Dream. So obviously Jordan Canada is still out. I don't think there's a timetable of when she's going to be back. Ryan Howard is back from injury, though, which is going to help out Atlanta a lot. Obviously, she's a fantasy relevant player. I know I have missed her. She's been on my IR. And I have some tough drops I need to make. We'll go over at the end of this live because I have some decisions I need to make before tomorrow. So like I said, Ryan Howard's back. Fantasy relevant players on Atlanta Dreams. We have Ryan, Alicia Gray, Tina Charles. And when I say these names, we're going to take someone with a grain of salt because you guys know how thin the waiver wire is. So, like I said, Tina Charles, Cheyenne Parker has become more fantasy relevant. But you guys know the deal. We don't know what type of playing time Cheyenne Parker is going to get. It's a coin flip, but these last couple of games before the break, she was pretty consistent, and forwards are thin out there. She's relevant. Aerial Powers, I believe, is still relevant. I know her playing time is probably going to go down with Ryan Howard back in, but same scenario like Cheyenne. Forwards are slim. If you need a player to plug in, Aerial Powers is there. The last three names, you guys know the deal. You're going to pray if you got to play them, okay? Haley Jones, Nia Coffey, Naz Hillman. Good luck. Good luck with that. But you guys know they'll get the playing time. You guys know they're in the rotation. With Ryan Howard, I'm thinking it's going to be tough. I think Aerial Powers is the most affected by Ryan Howard coming back. I just feel like her role increased with all the injuries and with them benching Cheyenne Parker. That's rough. This is giving me flashbacks of how rough fantasy is. It is hard. It is definitely hard. Moving over to Chicago. This one is hurting my heart. Injuries. Kennedy Carter tweaked her ankle during the Olympic break. I'm hoping she's fine for my sake because I need her. Okay? If you guys are just entering in, we are going over every single team. Just as a refresher, we need to get back into, we need to grease the wheels of our fantasy minds, right? We just went over Atlanta. We're on to Chicago. I was talking about Kennedy Carter, basically injured. Hopefully she's going to be fine. We haven't heard an update yet. But you guys also have to take into consideration the trade that Chicago made. So we're going to have Mariah Jefferson and Rachel Banham in the mix. I know that Witherspoon came out and said that Onyenwere is going to start and replace Marina Mabry. So there, she's fantasy relevant now. She did well in Phoenix. When she got a chance to play in Phoenix, same issue. There was injuries on Mercury's team. She was pretty fantasy relevant. She's a tough player. So I would say she is now in the fantasy relevant category. I think though, don't be surprised. Okay, because you get Mariah Jefferson and Rachel Banham. They're gonna try and work them in with Kennedy Carter out. I can't say that. I was going to say lean more toward Mariah Jefferson, but I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to hold out hope Kennedy Carter is going to play. Obviously, Angel Reese, Lindsey Allen, Cardoso, Isabel Harrison. And we all know Isabel Harrison, she can be a player that can get you 2 points, but she can also get you a good little 16 spot. It's just if she's hot that day. She's going to get in the teens minute-wise. I know a risky play, but I know she's coming handy when she drops those 20-point games here and there. So it's going to be hard. I want to see how they're going to mix Mariah Jefferson and Rachel Banham in. I'm thinking, it's going to be hard because, Dana Evans is also there. I still think Lindsey Allen is the most playable point guard. We'll see if Mariah Jefferson overtakes Dana Evans' playing time. I can see Rachel Banham mixing in. Again, they have to replace Marina Mabry's three-point shots. Who's really going to do that on this team? I mean, I think Rachel Banham would be a great replacement for that. So we're just, it's going to be interesting to see Chicago. And let's roll right into it with Connecticut. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Marina Mabry. I think there's a lot of question marks around this team. For fantasy, guys, this is all fantasy minds right now. And I feel like there's a lot of what's going to happen to DeJounte, what's going to happen to Ty Harris. I think Ty Harris's dependability went down when they got Veronica Burton. I feel like Veronica started playing a little bit more. If Ty's not hot, they'll lean towards Veronica Burton. I would still continue to play Ty Harris. I wouldn't say it's going to be anything spectacular, but it's going to be interesting how they use Mabry. I think Mabry's going to come off the bench the first couple of games. Unless something crazy happens where she overtakes. I really don't see them sitting DeJounte. I just can't see them playing in her face like that. DeJounte's been having a great season. There's just, I don't want to say there's no way because you guys know some of these coaches are crazy. They be doing some crazy things. But Connecticut's a small list. DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, Brianna Jones, DeJounte, Marina Mabry, Ty Harris. I know I mentioned Veronica Burton, but if you really need someone, go there. I'm not going there. So just keep that. That's just me. But Connecticut is going to be interesting. I think this helps their offense with Marina Mabry coming in. I'm just curious to see who it's going to take away from. Because adding a player like Marina Mabry, someone's fantasy points are going down. And I'm just hoping it's not my players. No, I'm just saying. I'm really curious to see. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to affect Ty Harris just because I can't say that because Ty Harris is a good point guard. This is stressing me out. Fantasy playoffs are around the corner. Decisions need to be made. A glimpse into my decision, I'll just drop it here. I said I was going to do it at the end of the video, but this is why I'm having a hard time judging the Connecticut Sun. Before Olympic break, obviously Satu and Ryan Howard were out. In one of my leagues, we have a 2 IR spot. They're both on my IR. But I have DeJounte. Like, the players I'm naming, these are droppable people because of how solid my lineup is. Okay, I have DeJounte, Bridget Carlton, or Jordan Horston that I need to drop. So I need to drop 2 of those players to activate Satu and Ryan Howard back into my lineup. I think I'm going to go Bridget Carlton and Jordan Horston, but I don't think that's a good move. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know your guys' opinions because I feel like Jordan Horston's also ascending. Bridget Carlton kind of is cooling off. But, like, do I really drop DeJounte? I don't know. It's hard. I'll come back to you guys at the end of the video with that, but let me know. Drop your opinions. Drop your opinions below. Going into Indiana Fever, Temi Fagbenle is still injured. No timetable there. They don't have any injured players coming back. But, I mean, Indiana, one of the harder teams to find someone to play. We got Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Melissa Smith. End of list. You guys know Indiana is hard. Is very, very hard to find a fantasy relevant player because of how they rotate their bench so randomly. One day it'll be Erica Wheeler killing it. One day it'll be Katie Lou. Then they'll sometimes throw in Lexi Hull. But it's just like there's no predicting what they're gonna do. I would stay away from them. Try and find a new player to plug in. But, you know, Katie Lou, if Katie Lou gets hot and hits you like 3 threes, I mean, that's all you need right there. That's beautiful. I'll take those points. Erica Wheeler, I think, is more up and down. I think I would go Katie Lou over Erica Wheeler. But yeah, Indiana is definitely tough. MK, they have to start Mabry and Carrington. Thomas is the point. Anyways, it's just hard. I think they're not gonna start her that first game back. I don't think they're gonna start Marina Mabry the first game. Out of respect. I don't know. Still learning the system, getting, you know, gelled with the team. I don't think they throw her in like that, right? Janice, you have to drop them. Atlanta is probably going to try to make a playoff run, and Dallas will try to spoil other teams. Dallas we're going to talk about Dallas. Dallas looking good. I know. I don't know who to drop, though. Out of the 3, who would you guys drop? Would you drop Horston, Bridget Carlton, or who did I say? Dejanay. I have the same problem with too many good players. I'm ahead of everyone, so I'm going to stall as long as I can. That's what I'm doing as well. I'm not ahead. I'm not saying my team's good. My team's been struggling, okay? But I'm stalling to the last minute to make my decision. And I feel like either way I'm going to make the wrong one, unfortunately. But that's just how it happens, right? Carlton Jordan. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Would you cut Carlton for Segrist? Let me get back to your question when we talk about Dallas. I have a similar problem about Segrist as well, so we'll talk about it. Okay, New York. Let's go to New York. So Benijah is still out. She's expected to miss 2 more weeks. Super unfortunate, but they're getting Niara Sabally back, who did really well in the Olympics. I know she got hurt. I did see that, but her game back, she did pretty well. I think Niara could be fantasy relevant. I know we haven't seen a lot of her. She's been hurt, but I think she can squeeze in there. They need people to come off the bench, and I think they'll rotate her in more. New York basically has Brianna, Sabrina, Benijah, Phoebich, Jonquel. Vandersloot's tough. I saw in a league someone drop Vandersloot. I wouldn't blame you. It's been a rough fantasy experience for her. Last year she was super consistent. This year I know it's been up and down. This is where it gets interesting between Kayla Thornton and Niara Sabally. I think this is where they're gonna eat into each other's time. But there's something about Niara. I think that she can really be fantasy relevant. I know Kayla Thornton was on a high with all the injuries, and people rode that wave. I know I plugged her in one time, and she did really good. But with Benijah coming back in the next 2 weeks, the lineups are going to keep looking different for a while. I know Phoebich was doing well when Courtney Vandersloot was out. It's going to be interesting with Niara back. Are they all going to get the same playing time? Because I knew that in the beginning of the season, they were having Niara come off the bench relatively first, compared to a lot of these names. So I'm curious to see how New York gets back to it. Too many good players must be nice. No. It's not nice. No, I think I'm like, for my lineup, like, I also have Tierra McCowan that I could probably drop, but like, do I really want to? I don't know. She does well with Satu and Natasha Howard and Enrique. I don't know. She did really well with all 4 of them. I want to see how it works out, and I'll probably maybe end up dropping her. We'll talk about Dallas, because Dallas is really confusing. Over to Washington. DD Richardson is out with I just said Achilles, probably soreness. But Brittany Sykes, Shakira Austin, and Carly Samuelson are going to be back. I love that Washington and Dallas are both in the same position, getting healthy, and are trying to spoil people and to try pushing to get to that A seed. It's going to be a fun couple of games. Is it possible? I'm sure there's a small percent, but that small percent, that belief, it's going to rock some boats, okay? With that said, they're all fantasy relevant. I think the only thing is, though, with Brittany Sykes back, it's going to have a down tick on a lot of Washington's players who were relevant at first. Just because Brittany Sykes is just so shifty with the ball, she's going to look for her shot first. I don't want to say Carly Samuelson's going to be affected because she was so hot before she got hurt, which was super, super sad for fantasy owners. But, for example, like Shatori Walker-Kimbrough was doing very well. Van Loo was doing well. Hines Allen, Aaliyah Edwards were doing well. Like, those players are all going to be affected. And it's a bummer because Shakira Austin's coming back. So, obviously, Maisha Hines Allen and Aaliyah Edwards, their playing time goes down. Van Loo and Shatori's playing time goes down with Brittany Sykes back. Obviously, they'll still be worked in, rotate in, but it's not going to be the same impact as it was before all of these injuries. I would say they're still fantasy relevant, though. Maybe not Shatori as much. It depends, because Shatori, I feel like what she showed, she deserves more playing time. But they like Van Loo, and I think that's going to be the player they rotate in for Brittany. So, but the Aaliyah Edwards, Maisha Hines Allen, that's going to be a hard guess. I would lean towards, I don't want to say that because they went back and forth. I feel like Aaliyah Edwards shined more with the injuries, and Maisha Hines Allen, she did good too though. That's hard. They're gonna be a coin toss. They're gonna be a coin toss. But basically, the fantasy relevant players I'd say on Washington are Ariel Atkins, Shakira Austin, Stephanie Dolson, Carly Samuelson, Aaliyah Edwards, Hines Allen, Van Loo, Brittany Sykes, and Shatori Walker-Kimbrough. Yeah, I mean, I would say, obviously, with Shakira back, it does affect Dolson in that way, but it's like, Dolson played with the starters, and she was doing fine. Like, she was doing good for fantasy, so I don't see her dropping off that much. It's more of the other, players that are coming off the bench that are really gonna take a hit, which is unfortunate because I know with the injuries, we had a lot of more players to choose from, but now, especially, man, I just keep talking about Dallas because we'll just roll right into Dallas. Because with Dallas, Trammell loves to ride the 5 and maybe a 6-man off the bench, but she will play them like their rotation's tight. Like, it's small. Like, it's like, we're going to win this game. And, I mean, it's worked. And Dallas is the most curious because of all the players they're adding back in. So, obviously, Maddie Siegrist is going to come back, but not until August 20th. But Satu and Jaylen Brown will be back. And this is the most interesting just because of the ascent we saw of J.C. Sheldon. And it's like, before, in preseason, everyone had all these high hopes for Jaylen Brown, right? So it's kind of like, does Jaylen Brown come back into the rotation over J.C. Sheldon? I don't know. We've seen how Jaylen Brown plays. She's a baller. So I'm just kind of curious on that end. The rotation is going to be, I still think it's going to be tight. Unless there's foul trouble, because Satu will play all 40. Or you guys know Enrique plays all 40. McCown will come in and out. Natasha Howard's been coming in and out as well, but that's more dependent on foul trouble. Once Maddie Siegrist comes back, I think it'll be a Maddie Siegrist off the bench, Jaylen Brown, J.C. Sheldon, and I think that's the rotation. Like Uzun, I don't know if she's gonna. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, but what Maddie Siegrist did with her time to shine. There's no way you can drop her. You gotta ride it. She's gonna be 6-man off the bench. Like, I just see it. I just think I love Maddie Siegrist. So to answer your question, I would cut Carlton, but you have some time. You can keep Carlton for Maddie Siegrist because Siegrist won't be back till August 20th. Obviously, Kalani Brown will probably come off the bench for McCowan. They'll still have their rotation. That'll always be there. But I do think Trammell this year, it has gone away from their big lineup. and has gone to a more smaller lineup. Last year, it was like bigs all day. We're playing big. McCowan had a great fantasy season last year. So I'm curious to see how it works out. Obviously, Satu's back in there. Conditioning-wise, I feel like maybe she might be, I don't think on a minute restriction, but before she gets back to where she was last season. Same with Jaylen Brown. She was dealing with that illness. So I want to say keep JC Sheldon in that mix, but I don't know. JC Sheldon and Jaylen Brown are going to be battling for that coming off the bench spot. I don't know. They should prioritize Edwards, tank, and develop. They're not going to. I don't know. I don't see Washington tanking just because they got a lot of dogs on that team. What do you think of playing Howard, Satu, and Seegers together to start? Dang, you got all the Dallas. I mean, those aren't bad players to have on Dallas. I mean, yeah. Well, Seegers isn't playing till the 20th, so you gotta find someone to fill in, but... Oh, you mean like... Oh, no, not fantasy? You mean like in real life? Let me know. Let me... Clarify for me. But yeah, I'm riding the Maddie Seegers high. I feel like what Trammell saw, what the team saw that she did during that time that she was playing, I think she earned the trust. I think she's going to be the 6th player off the bench when healthy. Okay, over to Vegas. So, latest injuries, Kate Martin's still out. I mean, she wasn't really fantasy relevant anyways. But Las Vegas is just, you guys already know. Plum, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, Tiffany Hayes. You can roll that dice. I know Alicia Clark's minutes have gone down a lot. And then Kia Stokes. Same old spiel about Vegas. You're really just going to play the top 4. Tiffany Hayes is probably the best ancillary player that you guys can play. And then if you really, really need someone, Clark and Kia Stokes will always be on the waiver wire. They're probably the most picked up and dropped people. They'll get you some points. I think I would go Kia with their constructed lineup right now. I'd probably go Kia Stokes over Alicia Clark. Okay, Los Angeles. I don't know if you guys saw in the Discord, but basically, Aari McDonald's out with a foot injury. At the worst possible timing for me. I'm in a close matchup right now, and I needed Aari, and I don't have any room on my IR. I have Maddie Segrist on my IR right now. I can't switch them out because Maddie's not going to be playing. Oh, sorry, hold on. Yeah, in real life, they are big. They can shoot some ball handling. No, I like it. I just don't... Well, they did already take McCowan out the starting lineup. So what you would say... Arike, Satu, Howard... Oh, I get what you're saying. Maddie Segrist, Tierra McCowan. Hey, that works in my book. I like it. I'm just saying that selfishly because I have Maddie Segrist. No, yeah, I like it. Sign me up. I think it just depends on their game plan of what they want to do. Honestly, with their starting 5. I'm just curious about the Jaylen Brown piece. Are they gonna start? I don't think they're gonna start 4 bigs. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't know. They might. So that's why I'm curious to see how that rotation works out. So Los Angeles Sparks, Aari McDonald foot, Stephanie Talbot foot. I'm concerned about the Aari McDonald thing because what happened there? Where did that come from? Please don't do this to me. That's all I'm asking. But fantasy relevant players, we got De'Erica. Azrae Stevens is just killing it right now. If you were able to swoop her before she was taken up, before she got back from injury, you might win your fantasy championship. I wasn't able to get her, so I'm jealous. That's why. Rakia Jackson's still relevant. With Aari McDonald out, we're going to have a real interesting rotation because you're going to have Clarendon, Kia Nurse, Ray Burrell in there. Ray Burrell was doing really good, I think. Probably regular basketball-wise at the end before Olympic break. So, with Aari out, I think they'll probably go back to Clarendon. Like how it was before was Clarendon, Kia Nurse. Or not Clarendon, it was Lexi Brown, huh? But Lexi Brown's out, but you guys know that. But I think it's probably going to be Clarendon, Kia Nurse. And then Rakia, Azrae, Diarca. Ray Burrell will probably be pretty relevant. I don't know how long. It didn't say how long Aries going to be out for. Which is just a bummer. Aries been having a really good season as well. MK said the last player can be a big or a guard. I like guard better. Yeah, I know. I don't know what they're gonna want to do. I feel like, you know, they've tried to mix up the lineups, small and big. So we'll see. We'll have to see about that. What Dallas does. Sims still there. I like her as a 5th player. So Sims and Monique Billings were cut. I did forget to go over that. They were cut because all the players are coming back, and I'm confused why they did that. They gave them really good minutes, really good depth off the bench. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys think about this too. It's kind of like, why hold on to a player like Seneschal who they don't really play? Like, you guys don't, Dallas doesn't really use, and I'm not saying she's a bad player. I'm just saying, Dallas, you don't really use her. You get what I'm saying? Like, they started Odyssey Sims. They've started Monique Billings. It's just a question. It's a curious question I have. I hope Sims gets signed. I'm sure she will. But it feels like Dallas is the only one to ever sign her, even though she's just super efficient every time she goes to a new team. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see about that. So I just finished up with LA. I don't think Lee Yaru is going to be any more relevant just because Azrae... Whoa, my voice. Just because Azrae Stevens is back. Obviously, Aries is going to be relevant. Talbot, I think, lost her window to be relevant for fantasy. But you guys know, some player can get hot. We saw a glimpse of Talbot get hot for a second. So, we'll have to see about that one as well. Over to Minnesota. Janice said must be contract stuff because dropping Sims and Billings looks nuts. Well, I know they were only signed due to the injuries. But you know, I'm not a business contract gal. But I don't see why not. Like, why you couldn't drop a player that's currently on your roster for another player. I feel like it happens all the time. You can waive someone and then just pick someone else up. So any contract buffs out there, let me know. Let's just get a refresher on Minnesota. No injuries. But Minnesota's pretty straight to the point. You got Nafisa, Kayla McBride, Bridget Carlton, Alana Smith, Courtney Williams. I feel like Dorka has been, Dorka gets you a good like 12 to 15 points. I would take that. That's fantasy relevant to me. I would take those points. Xanda Lassini, I feel like she's like on and off. Real coin flip there. You guys know Natisha Hyman's a coin flip as well. But I would stay with those, 6. Nafisa, McBride, Carlton, Smith, Williams, and then Dorka. I feel like Dorka's safe. It's a bummer that Diamond Miller did really well in fantasy last year. It's a bummer that she didn't have the same value as she did this year. But it's understandable. Bridget Carlton's rise, Alana Smith's addition, really, affected her. So, I'm not touching Diamond Miller fantasy-wise. So Minnesota's kind of straightforward, honestly. Really, the only people on the wire are probably you, Haas, Zandalcini, and Carlton anyways. I picked up Azrae. Is she legit? Yes. Let me tell you something about Azrae Stevens. Azrae Stevens last year killed it for fantasy. And there's just... me and her just have a bond. I'll always talk highly about her for fantasy-wise. I don't know her as a person. I'm just talking about fantasy. What she did for me with fantasy, thank you, girl. It's because she can hit the 3. She gonna try and take her own shots. She's gonna get in there for the rebound. She's a tough player. I'm here for it. A big that shoots 3s, I always want you on my team. Anything for extra points. You are lucky you got Azrae. She could win you a fantasy championship. Congrats. No, I'm just playing. Over to Phoenix. So Rebecca Allen, as many of you probably know, she tore her... Okay, wait. She didn't tear. She hurt her hamstring. Let me not create rumors. She hurt her hamstring at the Olympics. And basically now she's going to be out for a couple of weeks. They're just going to keep reassessing her until she's ready, which is a bummer because she was super steady. She was like kind of like low key on the waiver wire, but she was putting up like 20 plus points and she was just sitting on the waiver wire. So that gem is now gone. A gem is gone from the wire for us. But fantasy players that are relevant for Phoenix: Natasha, Clea Copper, Brittany Griner, Diana Taurasi. Sophie Cunningham has now risen with Rebecca Allen out. You know, she fills in for Rebecca when Rebecca was hurt in previous games. So pick her up. She'll get you points. I know we were riding the Natasha Mack high, but unless Brittany Griner gets hurt, we can't touch Natasha Howard anymore. I know Sugg Sutton's there, but Phoenix likes to ride the core. So, Phoenix is easy. That was easy. Let's go to Seattle. Our last team. My waiver's dead. Just here for fun. What do you mean? What do you mean? Okay, Seattle, no injuries. I think really you guys know to start the 4. Jewel Lloyd, Skylar Diggins-Smith, Ezzy Nneka. Jordan Horston has now made herself fantasy relevant. Starting role. I did hear rumors that Gabby Williams could be coming back. I think it's between, what was it, like Seattle, Phoenix, and New York or something like that. I might have made that up. I know New York was definitely in the mix. But if she came back to Seattle, it's a wrap for Jordan Horston. But Seattle would be so good. I don't know when she has to make up her mind, but her and Emma Mieseman are both free agents technically. So they can go wherever they please. I'm curious to see if they're going to come back because both those players will be fantasy relevant. Especially Emma Mieseman. That would be a winner. She would be... I guess it would depend where she goes, but I don't think it matters where she goes because she'd just win your league. She's just so good. Oh, just mean I enjoy the content. Thank you. I appreciate you. But anyways, you guys know if Nneka or Ezzy's hurt, Mercedes Russell is a plug-in. She will get you points. Sammy Whitcomb is a dice roll. It sucks because she was so good last year for fantasy. Sammy Whitcomb was like my saving grace in fantasy last year towards the end of the season. But yeah, I'm curious to see if Mieseman and Gabby Williams come back. I don't think Mieseman is, which is a bummer because if you guys haven't watched her play, she's so good. She's so fun to watch. Janice said, my fantasy team sucks. I picked Gabby for laughs. Janice, you're in our league. You're in my league, so if you want to drop any of your good players, I don't because I think I'm like 8th on the waiver wire. Hoard your players so none of my competition gets them. Yeah, but you guys, this is going to be crazy. I feel like during the Olympic break, I forgot everything. I'm trying to get back into the mode, and it's a little difficult. With 2020 hindsight, do you think Reese and Clark should have been on the Olympic team? Nah. I think it's fine how it is. I think that people underestimate how tough overseas is. And when they saw France, or they saw how close the France versus USA game was, they're just associated with USA sucked and needed Clark or Reese or whatever. But it's like, no, overseas is really good. Like, they're super physical. It's different rules. France's defense was just phenomenal. Like, I think people try and discount that. I'm glad we won. Because if we lost, we would have had to listen for 4 years how big of a mistake it was. I'm sure they'll be on the 2028 team. I'm sure. Come on. We're about to lose half this team because, they're older. So, I think it's fine how it is. I mean, if we want to make, they would have got more views. I think I just posted it today. I think that game got like 10.8 million views or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. So, 10.9 million views for that game. I mean, it's there. Everyone just wants to pick an argument about something. Gianna said, my team is finally healthy. Girl, I felt it. In my other league, I was hanging on for dear life. I had so many people hurt. Angel Reese just not that skilled. I'd rather John Quell. I feel like Angel Reese will develop. It's just her rookie year. It'll get there. John Quell, maybe next year. Maybe next year. Next year. Next Olympics. But yeah, guys, like I said, I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. I have a hard decision to make. I do think I'm probably going to drop Carlton and Jordan Horston and keep Dejanay. It's just rough. I feel like I'm going to make a big mistake either way. I feel like whoever I drop's going to go off in that game back. I got to see, you know what, though? I got to see who's going to play first. I think I'm in a close game. I think that's just how it's going to have to be. But this week, I know is our last week in our podcast leagues before playoffs start. I have a vendetta. Someone has a vendetta against me. KB24 forever. I don't think you're in here. He thinks I insulted him. I did not insult you. It's because I said I'd let him win. But I didn't mean it like that. I didn't have players to drop. Alright? So now I feel like I have this target on my back. It's making me a little nervous. Okay? And I'm not even favored. In our playoffs, I'm not even favored. I think I'm the 3 seed. I'm the 2 seed right now. If I lose, I'll probably drop to the 3 seed. So, please don't hate me. Let's see. I'm here late. Is Talbot going to get minutes? She's hurt. She has a foot injury. Yes, wait for the lineups before you drop. Some Olympians might sit. What? They better not sit. There's a lot. It's too close right now for people to be trying to sit right now. There's going to be a playoff push for that 8 seed. A playoff push for that 1 seed. I'm glad it's back, but it's going to go fast. It's going to go so fast, and then we're going to be in playoffs. But man, there's a lot of I feel like basketball though, right after the funness and breath of fresh air from the Olympics, you guys seen the Dearica Hamby lawsuit, another negative thing for Vegas. I just think the aura is just, it's not working out for Vegas right now. Which is a bummer. But anyways, do you guys have any other last minute questions? I'll keep doing the live weekly, especially with playoffs. I got to keep you guys updated with playoffs. It's been super fun. I haven't talked to you guys in, how long has it been? 3 weeks? I can't even count anymore. I checked the last Olympics. Oh my god, I can't speak. I checked the last Olympic break and Stewie and Sue Bird sat. Just saying. Interesting. I guess it depends who they play. If it's a team they think they can beat, maybe. And depends when they play. Do they play Thursday or do they get a break and they get to play Friday or Saturday? So we'll have to see about that. Any last minute fantasy question, guys? Hopefully, this refresher was good for me because I had to look at all these teams and figure out, all right, definitely Atlanta is going to be challenging Dallas. Dallas is going to be more fun for fantasy. Washington. I feel like a lot of teams stay the same. We all know Vegas, Minnesota, Phoenix, Seattle. A lot of it stayed the same. But a lot of them, some of them are going to get more interesting, especially with the Kennedy Carter injury. Curious, and the trade, how that's going to play out. New York has back-to-back road games, Sparks and Aces. Maybe they sit for Sparks and play the Aces. They're for sure not sitting out against the Aces. If they do. But okay, guys, if you guys don't have any other questions, I am going to call it a night. If you do have any fantasy questions and you're new here, hit our Discord. The link is in the description if you guys want to join. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Miss talking to you guys. Good luck this week. I'll chat with you guys next Wednesday or in the Discord. But thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good night, guys.